Welcome to Meeple Mentor Reviews. I'm Jared, and with me is Holly. Today we're doing a review of the new Kickstarter game Flamecraft from Cardboard Alchemy. This has been a hotly anticipated game for us. As soon as I saw it on the campaign and I showed it to her, we're down. Like, the artwork, the theme, it's definitely very cute, and man, it delivers, because when we open this, not only with the extra goodies and stuff that it came with, like the stickers and the pen and the bookmarks and
and the coasters
I mean,
so much.
It's so fun, and this thing is adorable. We've played it probably 5 times or so, and we've only had it like a week.
It's great.
Which is like crazy in our household. I mean, you can see how many games we have, so to be able to play one game that many times right after getting it, I can already tell you we like this game a lot.
Yes.
So what drew you to Flamecraft, and why is it so good?
Well, artwork, number one. Okay, I'm a fan of anything like tiny, rainbowish, pastelish, the animals. Oh, it's just adorable. I die. It's adorable.
So after playing it, what, other than the art, what was it that you like about it?
It's really simple, but you can put a lot of thought into it at the same time. I really like the mechanics of the game, that it's worker placement and resource management and collection.
Mm-hmm.
Fulfilling enchantments is fun. You know, I've tried with different strategies now,
mm-hmm.
and I like each strategy for its own worth.
Sure. They're basically in the game, you're placing dragons around the shops in town, which is a giant neoprene mat with 12 to 14 locations depending on player count. And, you go with your plastic dragon piece to a shop, and then, you can place a dude and collect resources. And there's 6 basic resources plus coins, which are kind of wild, and points at the end of the game. Sort of just bonus points. The majority of what you're going to score is during the game, mostly by the fancy dragon cards, which are just unique ways to score on your turn or at the end of the game. Sort of, some of them are in-game scoring, and then the other is the enchantment cards, which you just mentioned. So, do you want to walk us through how the gather turn and the enchantment turn is?
So, on the gather turn, you would take your miniature dragon and arrive at a shop, and whatever's pictured as far as icons for resources go, you would collect those, and then you would place a dragon and what's called flame it, which would be to
like fire up or whatever,
activate its ability. So that's your gather. And then for the enchantment, the reason you're gathering things is to set these enchantments on these shops, which increase their resource output. And on that turn, as opposed to gathering everything at the shop, you would put your enchantment on the shop and then use the ability of all available dragons there.
Yeah. And why do you want to complete enchantments?
Enchantments, I've found, are actually like really great for points and dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Because enchantments have different
like rewards.
Yeah, on the bottom, different things that you can achieve for achieving the enchantment, such as drawing a dragon card.
Coins, maybe.
Coins. I did notice that in the advanced cards in the gold stack, you could actually draw the fancy dragons as
mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, so the game has 2 different enchantment decks, and you just choose one in your game. So the first couple times we played was the recommended, purple deck of enchantments. Mm-hmm. So they're just more straightforward, and it's usually just points for the rewards. The gold deck, which is the more advanced one, had Well, the costs were a little bit more, I felt like.
They were.
They also were more restricted. I found a lot of cards that were saying you couldn't substitute your wild coins for any part of this in some of those cases. But as she said, you also not only get points, but you can draw new dragons, draw fancy dragons, and other types of rewards that you didn't see.
I feel like because once you get used to the game using the, the purple deck, the gold kind of enhances the gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, certainly on your first play, you want to do the purple deck, and then once everyone gets what's going on in the game and you play again, just go straight into the gold. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I mean, while you're sitting there playing, it's not a very long game for what you would think. Like, it looks like it would be a heavy kind of Euro, but when you really start playing, you realize it's pretty streamlined, and the gameplay moves pretty fast between turns. So you generally end up with less turns than you think you're going to have.
It's pretty straightforward.
It is pretty straightforward. We played one time with, mixed a variety of age groups. There was a kid who was probably 15 in one of the games. I mean, he did fine with it. And I think teaching it is pretty good. You can get people on board pretty fast with it. And certainly people are interested because of the way it looks, which is always a good selling point, as you saw with,
definitely,
why we were interested in the game in the first place. But playing it, I think it's light, but it's not too light.
Right.
There's enough strategy to be interesting, and there's enough to look at to be enjoyable, even if it lasts longer than you expect. Because even though there's 6 dragon types basically, and they all have the same ability, they all have different names and different artwork, which is also kind of cool. So if you just like looking at them, every card in that sense is different, but in gameplay terms, they're the same. So just kind of very approachable for all kinds of people, in my opinion. Any negatives about the game you want to share?
I feel I'm pretty biased. I don't know. I really like it.
Yeah, I know.
I really like
she
it.
really shot this one up on her top favorite list as a new gamer. But this is, I think, for me, still a really good game that I really enjoy playing and would be happy to break out anytime anyone wants to. I wouldn't say it's in my top 10 or anything, but it's definitely within the top 50 or 60 for me. And I've been in the hobby for years and years. Holly's a little more newer, but all the same, I think it's a solid game, and anyone can really have fun with this. But if you're a heavy Euro strategy gamer, you might be a little disappointed with the lighter aspect of the game, just because if you're expecting it to be something heavier, even like an Everdell heavy, it's not even as heavy as an Everdell.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's an important distinction if you're going to make, do I want this for my game group or for my family? It's more on that family side of a medium weight game.
I would agree.
And not on the strategy gamer side of a medium weight game. So that's sort of where I stand on it. It's a great game. It's definitely worth playing. And if you like how it looks and the streamlined gameplay, then definitely pick it up.
For sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's been our review of Flamecraft. I've been Jared.
I'm Holly.
See you next time.